Hey everyone, welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to do an infill for French tip polygel nails. I'm going to start by filing off the current design. The design that I had here was the thermo color changing nails, and I'll put the video up for that at the end of this video. And I'm taking my e-file and just scraping it off. The foundation layer that I had put on prior to this design is protecting the thinnest layer of polygel nails I have underneath. That way I'll know how far I went filing my nail. I'm just taking a safety bit and getting closer to my cuticle. Filing your own nails is always a little tough to do. I can't seem to bend my hand where I need it to be so that I can get to all the sides of my nail. It's always sad to see a design go, especially if it is still in good condition. My nails only grew out a little bit, but the design was still intact. Now I'm taking a cone-shaped bit and I'm filing the undersides of my nails. Sometimes they get stained, sometimes they get dirt under there. I do always put a layer of top coat, and so I'm just filing that away. Now taking a cuticle pusher and pushing back my cuticles. I apologize in advance for the buzzing sounds. I waited hours just to do this voiceover, and it seems the next door neighbor is leaf blowing every imaginable or invisible leaf they're possibly seeing right now on the floor. I mean, it's really not that kind of fall yet. But anyway, now I'm taking an e-file and I'm pushing back on this cuticle, pushing back the dead skin cells. I'm always a little careful around this area because I have a sensitive cuticle area, so I feel everything. And my camera is going crazy out of focus. Just imagine like rave music or something with the beats pumping and my camera acting as like a subwoofer. Anyway, I changed the bit so I can now, lift the cuticle, the dead skin cells out of the way. I prefer to trim them off, so I'll do this little bit, and I'm using a baller now, and then I'll end up trimming it off. It's really hard to focus when you have that noise just going for hours. I mean, this is not the country. It's the city, so there isn't much yard to blow. I don't know why they just insist on blowing away for hours. Hopefully they'll be done. I thought they were done. It was quiet there for a little bit, but they probably just took a break or something. Again, apologize. Now I'm taking the cone bit and I'm just shaving away the small lifted areas. And you want to do this because if you apply anything on top of a lifted area, more than not, what your work that you just did will end up lifting as well. So I'm just making sure I get every bit of that away. And these weren't that bad. If you've seen in my previous videos, I do work with my hands a lot, and I'm probably like the house dishwasher, so I'm always, having my hands wet, and I usually have to trim off a lot of um, the edges because they're, you get lifting. It's unavoidable when you work with your hands a lot like that. Now I'm going to take the pH bond from Gelish and I'm going to apply that to the natural parts of each nail. I lost a pinky nail in the middle of filing. And then I'm going to take my acid-free primer and apply that to the natural parts of each nail. You may be hearing a fire truck now. Everything's just happening. I'm using the Gelish Slip Solution and light pink Polygel to make the natural looking part of the French tip. And you just need enough to cover the natural parts of your nail and build up the new smile line. Because if you intend on doing French tip nails like this, obviously it's going to grow out. So your smile line that you had previously is going to be pushed out more, and depending on how you like your smile lines, you'll have to readjust that. And it's easy to do with this method because, as you can see, I'm just applying this light pink polygel and forming my own new smile line on top. And then I'm going to be covering everything else with the white polygel. So you'll never, if you do it right, you'll never know that, you even had a previous set grow out before that. So I'm just trying to use up, if you've seen my first video, I'm trying to use up what I have because I feel like you shouldn't be holding on to these things for too long. Everything has an expiration date. So like I said, I've had these polygels for maybe 2 years, and I think I just need to use them up. And as you see, the bottles that I show, they're not even large bottles. So I've been actually doing this process for ever since the first video, so maybe 4 weeks now. which might be insane because, you know, as you saw me filing off the thermo design, underneath was this beautiful French tip. And some people would think, oh my gosh, why are you covering that? It looks great. But, you know, I just can't rock the French tip all the time, and I'm trying to use it up anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. But yes, I think this is an easier method of French tipping because back in my Stone Age, we were just using like tape or, you know, if not freehand, which was insane because I don't have much of a steady or didn't have much of a steady hand back then to just paint the white smile line. Like I said in my first video, I would just do it straight across. It's a lot easier. Yeah, so just doing this, smoothing it out, making sure it's perfect. In my first video, I would file the smile line, but I am eliminating that process out and just trying to make the smile line perfect so that I can just apply the white polygel for the tip and that'd be the end of it. Let me know if that's something you guys do too, because I mean, with the amount of time I'm spending on my nails every week, especially doing the French tips every week under my designs, it just gets a little tedious, and I'm just constantly trying to find ways to cut the time in half or shed a few minutes here and there. I don't like to talk about the upcoming videos because then I feel like it's set in stone and I have to do it. But I'm thinking for the next video, I'm gonna do, I think they call it like shadowing or something. So I'm definitely gonna have to switch up what I'm doing here with the French tipping. But I guess you guys won't know what I'm talking about until you see it, so I should probably stop talking about it, because then if I just change my mind next week anyway, you'll never see it. But anywho, back to this. Yeah, I probably will end up getting more bottles of this stuff just because I like it. I mean, I was using, like I said, the builder gel for months to do wedding nails, and I do find that to be fun and faster maybe. But I like how Polygel just does what you want it to, and I get a little crazy sometimes. So, you know, as you can see, I'll spend time just to make everything perfect, or thinking that it's perfect, overthinking that it's perfect. But I do like polygels. Maybe I'll do colors. I'm not too sure, because I'll end up just covering it anyway with nail polish. Well, it's been a while now, but you can see that my other hand still has the mermaid fin. I was thinking I'll just cut them off after the video, after uploading the mermaid tail video. since, obviously it's been practical to keep. And I find that the only problems that I have with the fin, on my other hand, is I can't put my rubber gloves on to wash dishes. So I've been actually using the dishwasher for the past week, and it's been great. I prefer to hand wash, and I'm afraid that, obviously washing dishes without gloves, and sometimes I get lazy to put on gloves anyway, but being more conscious about the lifting and my hands being soaked in water all the time, uh, I was like, oh, I can't just keep washing the dishes with no glove at all on ever. So I've been using the dishwasher. But I think it's funny how it just like it's just flopping around there. Some people notice it. I don't think they say anything though. I don't know if they know, like, have or could think of anything to say. Like, hey, what's up with your nail? It's got a fin on it. How do you function in life? Oh, and obviously that finger does not type anything on the keyboard because I can't, I'll end up pressing 3 buttons at the same time. So right now I'm just smashing in some air pockets, air bubbles. I see some air bubbles, so I'm putting some indents where they are, and now I'm just smoothing things out again. Sometimes those bubbles can really get in there, and you really don't want them there, especially if you're just putting a clear top coat over it. But again, polygels are so great, you can always rework them. So I'm putting, again, these divots, and I'm just gonna fill it up with more polygel. It's very quiet now. I think that's great. It's about time. Fun fact. Uh, so if you're wondering why I always have I call it my bedtime voice. I'm just trying not to be too loud. I live in an apartment in the city, and it's magically a 1 bedroom, but still it's not that much of a large space. So my husband has the midnight shift, and I just trying to keep it down all the time so that he can sleep. I can sleep through, you know, there goes that rave party again. I could sleep, and I have in college actually. Um, Not gonna go into details, but I can sleep anywhere. But always want to be respectful for the people that can't just sleep anywhere. So I'm taking my Mia Secret nail form, and for the pinky nail that I had lost while over filing, I am just starting anew. There is a thin layer of polygel there, and I'm just covering it now with more polygel, and recreating this nail. That's another reason why I love doing my nails myself. Once upon a time I used to try to keep fake nails and redo them every 2 weeks, go in for the infill, like a good religious nail person, and that can get expensive, and I have to take time out of my schedule. So I end up doing my nails at night while, again, the husband's sleeping. So it's very convenient that if I ever lose any nails, which I've had since I just started doing my own for the past 2-3 years, I can just pop a nail form on and do it myself. So I got my bright white polygel, and like I said, I didn't file the smile line this time. I'm just applying the white polygel where it needs to be, and hoping that that just works. And I think someone's honking. It's a busy day today. I mean, Mondays people are usually just zombies, especially like if they were all up watching football last night. In case anybody was. I was, but I'm still like at home, so it's probably the first time that I don't need to worry about looking top notch and performing like a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed person at work the next morning. Winning. But anyway, okay, so because this is kind of a new nail, I am going back to smoothing out the undersides. Again, for some reason, this polygel doesn't cure all the way. I've tried to cure it over and over again with the nail form, and it still leaves the underside mushy, so. But moving on, the good thing about fill-ins is because sometimes nail forms, especially if you're working with your non-dominant hand, it feels weird. I feel like it's always moving, and it's not straight, and when you already have your nail down and you're just doing an infill, you just gotta follow your nail. And again, this bright white polygel from Gelish has a little harder consistency, so you have to put a little more pressure, patting it down, smoothing it out. So you end up spending a little bit more time trying to shape everything right, trying to get everything shaped right with the white and having it smoothed out. You don't have to be too perfect because you'll end up filing away at it anyway, but man, just to get that stuff down into shape, it's just so difficult. Well, not difficult, but just annoying. That you have to put in a little bit more work. And last nail. Stuff is tedious, but I think it's always good to go back. My first video being how to do polygel French tip nails, and then, you know, a couple weeks later posting another video of how to maintain it if you want to keep it up like that. So these are the type of videos that I would look for, and hopefully this could be helpful to anyone trying to do it themselves. It's so funny looking at the underside of your nail, or my nails currently, and the smile line is so far out there, and then when you flip it over, the smile line is where it should be. It's so confusing. I do like how the French tips look. You can imagine what it'd look like with other colors. Like black would be so cool and drastic to try out. Anywho, I am now using a hand file to shape up the edges. So I'm taking this 150 grit, and I use this to just make sure the angles, I tend to do tapered nails, so just making sure those angles are right, making the tip edge nice and straight, and then I end up doing the 180 grit to file down the sides and the tops. And last but not least, I will end up using the 240 grit to just smooth in the file marks, if that makes sense, and then smooth out the edges, so that when I apply a top coat, you won't see scratches on the nail, or, you know, the edges won't have little teeth, I guess, on the edges. And then I buff. I'm an over filer, if you haven't noticed. So I'm doing the buffing after I file, just to give it the extra smoothness. And it looks really good. It's a lot of work, but, you know, it makes everything like smooth and shiny. And I'm going with my cone bit to remove the excess polygel that slipped under the edges. So I don't know if you can see from this zoom the little white overages I have on the undersides, and I'm just wiping those away with my cone bit. So I'm going to take the top it off, and I'm going to apply this to each nail. I normally start like 2/3 of the way up, so I don't flood the cuticle. And I point my nails down. Sometimes I get a little clear top coat happy, and I get overages on the cuticle, which also would be a cause for lifting. The water will just sit under that ledge if you have it there. So I'm also going to apply to the undersides like I normally do. This keeps everything smooth and prevents stains. My wonderful new diet consists of beets, so my fingers end up red sometimes. And if I didn't have that there, I would definitely have pink French tips on the undersides, and that wouldn't look baller. I'm not a pink color fan. I'll wear it, October especially, but it's not my go-to. As stated in other videos, I'm a black color kind of girl. Which is why I sought out my cat Dexter. He's also on a playlist on my channel. You should check it out. He's my black beauty. I definitely wanted to adopt a black cat. They're not so much the first cat people think of to adopt. So I've had him for 6 years now, and he's truly a blessing. So I'm taking the nail cleanser by Gelish, and I'm wiping off the tops, the sides, the tips, and the undersides of each nail, getting that sticky residue out, and I'm going back in for the double wipe, and I'm going to apply a second coat. So if I do, or knowing I'm going to do a design on these nails, I'll end up just putting like a foundation layer. But I'm going to rock these for a couple of weeks, so I'm just putting 2 coats of it. So funny seeing that underside smile line. Cleansing it again. I'm going to miss that fin when I take it off next week. It was pretty to look at. And I'm going to take Nourish Cuticle Oil from Gelish, and I'm applying this around each nail. Giving my cuticles a little treat. I'm going to be rubbing this in. I think the humid atmosphere has been doing wonders for my dry skin, but that's soon to end. And here are my nails. Looks nice. It's great. Can't wait to cover them next time. Thank you for watching my video. This is Isms by Josie. Like and subscribe for future videos. And I will see you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.